Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Superhero Chronicles as we keep trudging along the desert of the X-Men film review series. And we have finally come to the end of the original trilogy with the infamous X-Men The Last Stand, universally disliked by a lot of people. We're going to take a look at it, and we're going to do a little bit of positives and negatives. First, positives. Kelsey Grammer as Beast. Awesome. Kelsey nails it as Beast. The whole makeup look of Beast is straight out of the original animated series from the 90s. Kelsey Grammer brings, Kelsey Grammer's like whole. Kelsey Grammer's just perfect. I can't say enough about Kelsey as Beast. Everything is now pat. The personality, the the references he makes to like Winston Churchill and things like that, top notch. Kelsey as Beast, nothing bad to say. Uh, what is up? The acting, as usual, the acting is fine. The acting in this movie is solid. McKellen and Stewart once again, do what they can do with the little they have to work with. Same with Hugh Jackman. The performances overall are solid. Another positive. The action. Uh, a lot of the action in this movie is actually quite good. It's not bad. It's good, especially the fight at the end when they go to Alcatraz Island and the big brawl. Mutants. The X Men versus the Brotherhood, and you got the human army there just as an added foil, just like high tension. So that was done fine. Uh, let's see. Another positive. That's all the positives. Let's get to the negatives. Okay, here we go. Where do I start? The Cure. The whole Cure angle. I don't care if it's based on Ultimate X-Men. I don't like it. I don't like it. I prefer the Cure angle from the animated series, where instead of being a mutant, a cure to cure mutation, it was actually a cure that made you the slave of Apocalypse. The Last Stand would have been the movie to first introduce Apocalypse because you had the cure, and you could have easily used that, and you could have easily made the whole Phoenix thing work too. Because the way that the Phoenix worked in this movie didn't work. It was a split personality, really? A split personality. Stupid. I didn't like it. I mean, what happened to like the Phoenix being this cosmic being that attaches itself to Jean? Why is it gotta be a split personality? And it was done stupidly. It was dumb. It was stupid. It made Professor X look like an ambiguous character. It's like, okay, Professor X, you're supposed to be this guy to help people not repress the mutations, but to accept the mutations. But you're suppressing Jean's mutation. And it's morally ambiguous because you're contradicting yourself. He's like, oh, I don't think mutants should use their, I think mutants should not abandon their power. And all of a sudden you're like, Jean, you're evil. I must suppress you. I didn't like it. Dumb. And what else is dumb? Oh, yeah. Vinnie Jones is Juggernaut. Vinnie Jones I had no problem with is the fact that they made Juggernaut a mutant, which doesn't make sense to me because Juggernaut's not a mutant. Juggernaut's powers are magical. He got his powers from the Yamcram crystal, and in this movie they made him a mutant, and they didn't even touch upon that he and Xavier are stepbrothers. That's another botch. What else? What else don't I like? They randomly have Trask in here, and he's not even Trask. I mean, he's like a Trax. I mean, he's not even Trask, the creator of the Sentinels. He's just some random guy with his name. I like the actor who plays him, Bill Duke, is great. I love him in Predator. He was awesome. But and I could have easily bought him as Trask too if they actually went with the Trask storyline. And then there's the whole thing with the Danger Room and the Sentinels and how that just randomly appeared with no mention of it or whatever. That I can let that slide. What I can't let slide is the fact that they killed Cyclops 20 minutes into the movie And he literally did nothing. You see this, I'm moping over Jean. Next scene, dead. The field leader of the X-Men, the surrogate son of Charles Xavier, dies. And to make it worse, he dies off screen. Super. As you can tell, I don't like this fucking movie. I hate it. And you know what? I got this before. It has a very little positives to it because a lot of it is negative. And it's warranted because this thing had a good idea. It had a really good idea, and it just mishandled the idea. Dumb or stupid. The decision making in this movie is stupid. But there is one line that I love. Shortly after Professor X dies, Magneto and Pyro are having a conversation, and Pyro was like, telling Magneto, like, if you didn't stop me, I would have killed the Professor. And Magneto just stops and he's just like, Charles Xavier did more for mutants than you'll never know. My single biggest regret is that he had to die for our dream to live. I love that line. That line says so much. It says that even though he and Charles were enemies, and they had conflicting ideals, there was still a friendship there. There was still a love for one another that in there, and that's all in that one line. It's all that little exchange. I like it. Now, if this movie actually meant something, that line would have been even better. In a more well-written movie that was not just throw a rush job. This was a rush job. They had lost Bryan Singer. They got in Brett Ratner. They had to make a release date, and they rushed this movie before they could even perfect a really good script. And it shows. It shows. And X-Men: The Last Stand is like the first bad X-Men movie. Just trust me. We're gonna get to the real bad X-Men movies really, really soon. But overall, I give this movie a. I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna give this movie a 5 out of 10. I give it a 5 out of 10 because while it's bad, it's not insulting. Well, it's bad, but it's not bad to the point where it's unwatchable. It's bad to the point that when you're watching it, you're just like, there's so many things you could have done with this, and why are you doing this, and why are you doing that, and this should have been like this, and that should have been like that, and why is he dying, and why is he dying, and why does this story just doesn't want to go on, and why did you bring an Angel? And this is another thing that's also bad. You set up Angel at the beginning of the movie, right? And he does nothing. He has a little mini arc where he says, "I will not take the cure," and then at the end he saves his father, who was the inventor of the cure. So yeah, he had his own cute little arc, but I wanted more. No, I changed my rating. This is a 4. This movie's a 4 out of 10. This is a 4 out of 10. The 4 points go to the positives. The rest of this movie, ugh. I'm AJ Legend. This is Superhero Chronicles. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.